My wife replaced me with my best friend. So I replaced her with her own mother. She chose Ray. I chose her mother. For 18 years, I was her husband. For 26 years, Ray was my brother. The day I found out what they had done, I did not scream. I did not break anything. I sat down, and I made a plan. My wife replaced me with my best friend. S.O. I replaced her with her own mother. They thought I was broken, finished, too loyal, too old, too soft to fight back, and my wife believed that. Ray believed that. What neither of them knew was that I had already decided exactly what I was going to do, and I had decided it calmly. I in the parking lot of a gas station point 10 minutes after I found out. Before we go any further, subscribe to Revenge Handler. This channel exists for every father and grandfather who gave their best years to this family and got betrayal in return. If that hits close to home, you are exactly where you need to be. Hit subscribe right now, because what I am about to tell you, you need to hear it all the way through. My name is Victor. I am 57 years old. I am a father. I built everything I have from nothing. This is my story. Get comfortable, because the people in this story had every single chance to do the right thing. They chose wrong every time. Drop a comment below. Make sure you are subscribed. You are going to love it here. And if you think you already know where this is going, you don't. Not even close. I found out on a Sunday afternoon. Not by accident, my daughter told me. She is 22. She sat across from me at the kitchen table. She had been holding it for 2 months. She said, "Dad, I have to tell you something." And she told me. She cried the whole time, but I did not cry. I put my hand over hers and I said, "You did the right thing telling me that." I drove her home. I hugged her. I got back in my car. I drove to a gas station. I sat in the parking lot. And I thought, for 1 hour, that be why the time I drove home that I had a plan. Let me take you back to the beginning. Her name was Diane M.Y. wife for 18 years. His name was our A.Y. best friend for 26. That I introduced him a Tea My Own barbecue point 14 years ago. I handed him a beer. I said, "Ray, this is my wife." He shook her hand. He smiled at her. I thought nothing of it, because I trusted them both with my life. That is a part that never leave. I handed them to each other and called it friendship. It had been going on for 14 months. 14 my daughter found a message on her mother's phone. By accident. She carried that for 2 months alone. 22 years old. Carrying that by herself. I will never forgive them for that part. Not ever. And that was just the beginning. Drop a comment below. Where are you watching from right now? And stay with me, because this story is only getting started. If you are just joining, you need to go back and watch from the start, because what I am about to tell you only makes sense if you know what came before. The plan I made in that parking lot had 3 parts. Part 1, to see a lawyer. Part 2, build a case quietly. Part 3, Margaret. Margaret was Diane's mother. She was 64 years old, a widow for 11 years. Sharp as anyone I had ever met. She had a laugh that filled a room. She had opinions about everything. And she was never wrong. I had always liked her. Genuinely liked her. More than I liked most people. She had treated me like family since the day I married Diane. Better than Diane had treated me for a long time. I called her on a Monday that I said, "Margaret, I need to see you." She said, "Name the place." I took her to lunch. The quiet restaurant on 5th. The one she liked. I ordered her the soup she always had. I sat across from her. And I told her everything. Every single thing my daughter had told me. I watched her face. She did not interrupt. She did not look away. When I finished, she sat very still for a long time. Then she said, "How long?" did I said, 14 months. She closed her eyes. She opened them. She said, "Victor, I am sorry," that I said. "Do not apologize for her." She said, I am not. I am apologizing for being blind. She should never have done this to you." Then she looked at me very directly, and she said, "What do you need from me?" That was the question I was waiting for. If this is hitting close to home, give this video a like right now. You know exactly what I mean. I said, "Margaret, I want to ask you something, and I need you to know. This is not a game. This is not something I am saying angered. I thought about this carefully." She said, "Ask me," I said, "Would you have dinner with me? Not as family, as my guest." She looked at me for a long moment. She said, "You know what you are doing?" that I said, "I know exactly what I am doing." She was quiet. She looked at her hands. Then she looked up and she said, "Pick me up at 7. We had dinner that Friday. We talked until the restaurant closed. We had dinner again the next Friday, and the one after that. She was the most interesting woman I had ever sat across from. She made me laugh in a way I had forgotten. She saw things clearly, without flinching. She had built a life alone for 11 years, and she was proud of it. I was proud of it too. I was proud of her. 3 months, and I said, "Margaret, I am not doing this to hurt Diane. Not anymore." She said that, "I know that." I said that, "I am doing this because I want to." She said, "I know that too." I had the lawyer ready. The documents complete. There was one thing left to do. We are almost at the end. Subscribe if you have not yet, because what happens next is something I have never told anyone. I asked Margaret to marry me 0.6 months after that first lunch in the same restaurant, at the same table. I told her, "I am not asking because of Diane. I am asking because of you, because of who you are, because of what these 6 months have been." She did not answer immediately. She looked at me for a long time. Then she said, "You are sure?" I said, "I have never been more sure of anything." She said, "Then yes." The next morning I served Diane the divorce papers. She came to the door. I handed her the envelope. She started to speak. That I said, "There's something else you need to know." That I told her I was engaged. She said, "You've been seeing someone?" That I said, "Yes." She said, "Who?" That I said, "Your mother." She stared at me. She said that name again. "Your mother." That I said, "We are getting married in the spring. I would like you to be there. She is your mother after all." Then I got in my car and I drove away. You stayed. Good. Because this, right here, that I asked why patience is a weapon. The wedding was on a Saturday in April. Small 0.40 people. Margaret wore a cream dress. She looked like a woman who had decided she was done being small. I wore the same suit I wore to my own first wedding at IT still fit. That felt right to me. Diane came. Because Margaret asked her to. She sat in the third row, with her arms crossed. She watched her mother walk toward me. She watched me take her hands. She watched us say our vows. That I did not look at Diane. Not once I looked at Margaret. Only Margaret, because Margaret was the only one in that room that mattered. Ray was not there. He had not been invited by anyone. After the ceremony, my daughter found me. She hugged me. She said, "Dad," that I said, "that I know." She laughed, and I laughed. And that was the first time I laughed like that I in a long time. People asked me later, was it revenge? That I said that IT started that way. Then it became something else. Something I did not expect. The best things usually do. Margaret and I have been married for 2 years. She still makes me laugh every day. She still fills every room she walks into. She still orders a soup at that restaurant on 5th, and she is still never wrong about anything. I did not destroy Diane. I did not destroy Ray. I simply stopped being a man they could count on to stay quiet. And that was enough. They forgot one thing about quiet men. We remember everything. If this story moved you, subscribe to Revenge Handler. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And drop a comment below, because your story matters too. I will see you in the next one.